Alrighty, good morning, everybody. There was the bell today. The market is actually not doing near as bad as it was yesterday. You can see the SPY is holding up quite well so far this morning compared to the past few days where we've seen some sell-offs happen in pre-market. So I'm kind of glad to see the SPY holding up. There's a bit of support here at 375, which both Mike and myself talked about this morning. So we're definitely going to be watching 375 as a nice support there. You can see yesterday morning around 10 a.m. Central Time, there was a bounce right around 375 again. So maybe we'll see the SPY end up holding up today. I have a feeling we might. You know, we've been seeing a lot of selling pressure, and it looks like here that the market just keeps falling more and more. But, you know, at some point, I feel like we're going to see a bit of an intraday pop back to the upside. You know, I don't think we're going to see anything crazy, but, you know, I think a move up towards 380 and then possibly 385 might not be too unrealistic right now. You know, we are heading into the FOMC event tomorrow. It looks like the Feds are now expected to have a 75 basis point increase here, which is pretty insane. So you can see that the next target rate is going to be 150 to 175 right here. The current rate is 75 to 100. So if they keep raising this here by another 75 basis points, that'll put us within that 150 to 175 range. So that'll be pretty big there. You can see there's a 93.2% chance of that happening right now. Even earlier this morning, there was only a 91% chance of this happening. So it was pretty interesting to see it kind of jump back up again this morning. But yeah, nonetheless, it's still on the rise. Like you can see on the CNBC article yesterday, the Fed's policymakers are entertaining the idea of a 75 basis point increase this week. You can see the Wall Street Journal. Where was it here? Yeah, a Wall Street Journal. They pretty much put out a story Monday that talked about the change in the central bank stance, like the article says here. Pretty much, they're looking at a 75 basis point increase here. It even caused banks like Goldman Sachs to follow along with a lot of other analysts with different companies and banks and, you know, different things like that. So pretty cool to see all this stuff going on. If there is a 75 basis points increase here, that might be bad for the markets. You know, that would be a little bit more hawkish than people would expect. You know, I will say people are probably hoping for like more of a dovish tone from the Feds, but, you know, if they do increase it by 75 basis points, then I think that that's going to be a pretty hawkish thing that they do. Like you say, like it says here, Leesman, which is a CNBC, I guess, analyst, you could say. He pretty much says it's a real distinct possibility. Now, always take what analysts say with a, you know, grain of salt, but nonetheless, it's pretty big. Hunter says definitely not in class right now again. Yeah, that is funny, Hunter. Yeah, I can't believe this market. Today might be a better day for you being in class, to be honest. I feel like the SPY might be a little bit more flat. But yeah, thank you guys for joining up. Jamie, Peter, George, Vicky, Hunter, of course. Thank you guys so much. Mike Chang, thanks for being here. Of course, just let me know what stocks you guys want to see covered this morning. But I will say there's some stocks really flying back up today. I don't know if you guys saw this big move with FedEx or not in pre-market, but guys, I mean, this is a huge explosion back to the upside, especially right off of that $200 support. I cannot believe that FedEx is flying up as much as they are. I mean, that is a huge explosion there. Wow. I mean, I cannot believe this, guys. FedEx is really moving. I'm sure there's some pretty big news. Let me check in on their on the Thinkorswim news tab really quickly. Let's see here. FedEx add board members in deal with activist D.E. Shaw. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know exactly like what kind of activist this is. Let's see if I can do a deep dive here. So here you guys can see the news here up on the screen. It says FedEx Corp said it added 2 directors to its board and plans to add another under an agreement reached with activist investor D.E. Shaw, moves that come shortly after longtime leader Fred Smith stepped aside as chief executive. So it says a couple people will be added to the board effective immediately. A third director agreed upon will be added later. Let's see. The company also adjusted its executive compensation program and increased its quarterly dividend by 53% to $1.15 a share. So that's pretty big there. they increased their dividend. That's probably a big reason why they're going up. So definitely sounds good since they did that. Yeah, here's the news about the dividend raise here. Yeah, they were at 75 cents a share. Now it's at $1.15. So yeah, definitely good for FedEx if they're raising that dividend. And yeah, sounds good. They're adding 3 new board members, but nonetheless, their stock is starting to really consolidate down here around $200 even. Honestly, it's not a bad play, guys, if you're looking for something for the long term. I don't know if you guys are into FedEx or not. I know some people like UPS better, but, FedEx is not looking bad. UPS doesn't look bad either, to be honest. I just feel like FedEx is bouncing a little bit more at like a key support level, but that's nonetheless. Yeah, good morning, E. Let's go. Yeah, let's go today. Let's get some nice profits going, guys. Hopefully, you guys can find some nice stocks this morning to trade. I know, like, so far, the SPY's not really doing too much. I did notice some of these stocks, like Twitter, a few other growth stocks are starting to recover back. So this is great, actually. I'm glad to see Twitter popping back up. I know Neo is back in the green, which is nice to see. Oracle is still green after their earnings yesterday. Oracle really exploded last night, guys. That was a pretty big move. Later in the week, we're going to have Adobe reporting on Thursday night, so definitely be on the lookout for them. But Ford's coming up. Oxy's actually back in the green again. XPEV is starting to fly up with some of those China plays this morning. I wonder how BABA's doing. Yeah, BABA actually gapped up, guys, and it's still right at $100 a share. So I don't know if $100 will still end up holding up on BABA or not. I know, obviously, it's been around $100 for a long time now, but yeah, definitely check that out, guys, because I feel like that whenever we're looking at stuff like BABA, it can definitely be pretty good to look at because these China stocks have had some insane moves over the past couple weeks, and looking at it today, it's definitely getting a pretty nice green candle here, so yeah, it seems like the price action is going to be insane with BABA today, but if it starts breaking maybe up above, I would say like 103, then I think we could see a really solid move up, even like up above 102.80. I think that's breaking a pretty key support there. So yeah, throw it on the radar, guys. Make sure you watch that one. I think that'll be a big one to keep your eyes on, of course. But yeah, a lot of key stocks are down today. Even gold is down again, unfortunately. Yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate. It's not really like tanking off. It's just kind of, consolidating and not really moving all that much right there. Let's check out maybe something like Facebook or Meta. Let's see them. Yeah, even like Meta, guys, is like kind of tanking back off to the downside here today. Almost back down to that low of yesterday around 164. It is green, but, I will say the movement today at market open is not too assuring. Like whenever I'm looking at stocks like, for example, this morning that are moving, like some of these China stocks like Neo or SoFi or BABA, for example, these stocks are starting to actually have some green movement come in. Even Ford, Penn National Gaming, yeah, like it's either getting some actual green candles. Whereas we look at stuff like Meta, and it's slowly falling off, like still in the red here. So definitely a little bit worrying with that type of movement. I will say my watch list is mostly green, but I do have a couple still down in the red there. I will say, guys, the all infamous Redbox RDBX is down today, down 20%. I mean, this is a big pullback. Of course, though, yesterday it really exploded, but yeah, she could not pass above $18 and pull back. I remember watching this on stream yesterday, and it passed above $18 momentarily, and then came down and never broke out again. Like, that was a pretty bad fake out there, so hate to see that, but yeah, that's what happens, though, whenever you get stocks running up like Redbox. And it's honestly insane. Like, Redbox should not be at this valuation at all. Like, they're getting bought out at such a lower price. It would be, like, that's insane. Like, Mike had a really good comparison for this move with Redbox here. He kept saying that, it's kind of like if Activision right now, ATVI, was getting bought out for, like, $300 a share. It's just like an insane price, and Redbox is just like way too high. It was probably even higher than $300 a share, to be honest, in the example, but still, that's kind of just showing what's going on. Peter says, I'm waiting for the dump. SPY has just double topped. Did it? Let's go see. Did it double top today? Ooh, yeah, it kind of did. Let's see on that 1 minute. Yeah, there we go. It kind of did double top, like right around like 378 or so, Peter. I definitely am seeing that type of bad movement here this morning. And yeah, the way we're dipping below SMAs and stuff, I do not like the way this is setting up. So yeah, I hate to say it, guys, but it looks like we might end up dumping again. But, maybe we can find some pretty good plays to the downside today. And, of course, I'm here live every single morning, so don't forget to smash that like button, of course. And, of course, we'll be here tomorrow morning ahead of Powell speaking as well. And it's going to be a huge day tomorrow, guys, with the rates coming out and then Powell speaking 30 minutes after that. It is going to be insane. So definitely be ready for an increase in market volatility here. As we saw yesterday, VXX, UVXY, and just the VIX itself went insane. You can see UVXY is actually still hovering around those highs of yesterday. It's not really breaking out, but you can tell it is kind of trying to nonetheless. If I go to VIX, which is the VIX index, you can see that is holding up quite well too. So always good to see the index up here. But yeah, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Like I said, lots of stocks are coming back up today. DraftKings, unfortunately, is red, but we do have a lot of other growth plays kind of running up today. I know XPEV was hot. FedEx, of course. It looks like XPEV, though, really continued up here after market open, guys. If you're looking for some stocks moving to the upside with momentum, it looks like XPEV, LI, NEO, BABA, those types of stocks are having a pretty hot morning compared to almost everything else. Let's go see Spotify. Spotify's up a lot today. They're bouncing right off of $100 intraday. This might be a pretty good dip buy here, guys. I don't know if you are if you guys like Spotify or not. I know some people do, some people don't. It's one of those growth stocks that fell a ton over the past few years. If we look at that max daily chart, the high was at 387 and we're all the way down to 100 now. So we've definitely fallen much further than 50%, and yeah, it's unfortunate to see with Spotify here, but it's actually not the worst movement. It's just kind of like Zoom or like some of those other growth plays, but it's definitely not good. The thing is though, is a good dip buy here is probably not a bad idea. The only thing is how much more is the market gonna end up falling down today? Because yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. E says that Zoom play from yesterday might hit today. Apple's pulling down. Let's see. Good old Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is looking quite well here. Let's see. Yeah, yesterday it just kind of stayed between a range. I will say you could have played it below 104 yesterday a couple times, and it could have been good. But yeah, if it ends up falling back below 104 today, I feel like you could scalp it pretty good and quickly too. Maybe down to 103, kind of like what we saw yesterday. I mean, I know it's nothing crazy, but a $1 scalp is never too bad whenever you're trading some of those intraday options like that. If you do see that breakout up above 106, though, you definitely watch for that break. I'm hoping for a nice break back to the upside, but it just it is not happening. It seems like Peter is saying HUSA for a quick day trade. Let's see, good old HUSA, HUSA, Houston American Energy. Wow, yeah, there we go, Peter. I will say this one does have some good momentum. It's up 20%. Wow, not bad, actually. It could be a pretty good play for shares. I will say we're sitting right around a bit of resistance. I'm seeing something around 750 up to, maybe 770. I'm seeing resistance all between there, even around $8. But I will say, Peter, it's looking pretty hot. It's starting to pop up, and yeah, that is a pretty good one. So like you said, for a quick day trade, might not be too bad if you can time it up correctly. Like I said, right now it seems like it's about at resistance, but I hope it can break out because, man, it's been hot. It is already up quite a bit though, 21%. I mean, have a day, HUSA. So yeah, thanks for pointing that one out, Peter. That one is definitely running up with some momentum. I'm looking on my watch list. The highest one up is FedEx, up 10.4%. I'm sure there's some bigger movers out there today, and if you guys are finding any, definitely let me know. We'll look at those for sure. J Deep says Coin is firing 18% of their workforce, guys. That is insane. I cannot believe that. That is bad news there, J Deep. I'm gonna have to look this one up on Thinkorswim News here. Let's see. Coinbase. Wow. Yeah, that is not good at all. Yeah, here it is, guys. Right here. Here's all the news. Plan for the worst so we can operate the business through any environment. Coinbase CEO announces 18% staff reduction. That is big, guys. So, I know Tesla actually announced a 10% cut in employees as well just the other day. So it's kind of interesting now to see Coinbase coming out with this, and I'm curious to see how many other companies are going to have to cut their bottom lines too. Like it's been rough right now for a lot of companies, and as we know, this earnings season has been particularly bad. But the thing is, obviously, crypto has been super bad. Like if we go look at Bitcoin right now, I feel kind of bad, guys, but it's all the way down to like 22K. It was at almost 20K last night. So look at Bitcoin like a 1-year daily chart. The way it's moving down here is nuts. And if you look at the max daily, I mean, it's looking even worse. I will say we're down to around that 1,000 SMA though, which is a little bit interesting on Bitcoin. So maybe we'll start to pop up. I am seeing a pretty big support at 20,000. Although I will say, there can definitely be moves below that. I will say this is the futures chart. Let me go back to SPY here really quickly, and let me go over to the actual Bitcoin chart here. So here we go. This looks a lot better on TradingView. You can see Bitcoin is falling down towards that 20K support. Pretty big support there from the past. I feel like we could end up bouncing there. If not, I'm seeing another support around 16K, and then below that around 12K. Personally, I think that we can get down to around 12K. I think that would be pretty realistic, and that would be like really middle of that range there. On a technical level, 12K would be what I'm looking at. But obviously, the market and different factors are going to play a bigger role than just looking at the chart like that. But nonetheless, I'm kind of waiting until like 12K or something like that. I think that could be around the bottom on Bitcoin. What do you guys think of Bitcoin? Do you guys like Bitcoin? Do you guys think it's a bit con? Like I know some people hate it. So I personally am just like middle of the road with it. I don't hate it. I don't really love it. I'm really curious though to see what it does. I feel like every time the thing dips down, I feel like it can end up coming back up pretty well over the next couple of years. So that's pretty interesting with good old Bitcoin. Like that the last time it had a big dip, guys, it fell from 20K all the way down to like 3,300 or like 3,000. So if I'm looking at Bitcoin now, honestly, like we're at 68K at the top, we're down to 22K. If we're looking at this type of move down, we still have some room. So like I said, 12K would be what I'm looking for here. But that's just me kind of trying to eye up a level on Bitcoin, which is extremely volatile, of course. Bitcoin is crazy, and it's pretty insane to see it selling off like this. I remember some of those stable coins, like I can't remember the exact ones. Like what was it, UST or I can't remember something. One of those stable coins like tanked off a while ago, and I'm not sure if it came all the way back up or not. But man, I know like when that happened, people were starting to get pretty worried about cryptos, and I can't believe that it happened again. Peter says, I hate it, and he means he hates crypto. It has too much power over the entire crypto market. It falls and everything else does. Okay, he means he hates Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Peter. So like you like some other coins better, maybe like I'm trying to think of some here. What was my favorite? I used to have XRP, Ripple. XRP used to be one of the ones I looked at a lot, but in the end, like you said, if Bitcoin goes down, they all usually end up coming down anyways. I used to look at like Litecoin, Ethereum. I looked at Doge for a little bit. Obviously, I'm never gonna buy Doge. I was just kind of watching that volatility, but yeah, it's pretty insane to see all those different cryptocurrencies out there. I can't believe some of these crazy like sexual ones, guys. Like, like you see these weird like sex coins. It even gets weird sometimes at this point. But yeah, I definitely see what you're saying there, Peter. Though, if Bitcoin falls, it really drags everything else down. It's kind of almost like if like Apple tanks down in the market. I'm not saying Apple is directly dragging everything else down, but of course, if people see Apple selling off in a big way, then usually other big tech start selling off, which can sometimes, lead into the other parts of the market falling. So I definitely feel what you're saying there, Peter, for sure. Keisha goes, morning. Sorry I'm late to the bloodbath. Yes, you are, Keisha. You are a little bit late today, but, it looks like you're just in time to watch the break down to lows. Apple's right around that low of yesterday within just Now it's around like 50 cents of that low of yesterday. So watch for a breakdown with them. That SPY almost got down to that low of yesterday and it ended up popping back up, which was interesting. So I can't believe that the SPY is trying to come back up like this. Let's go check out like maybe some of these other stocks in the S&P 500, like Meta, for example. Guys, Facebook is looking pretty bad here today. I don't know what's happening with them, but wow, they are down again, another 1% down to 162.37. This is going to make for a great buying opportunity once Facebook hits a low, guys. I don't know where the bottom is on Facebook or now Meta, of course, but man, this is insane to see it down so much on this daily chart. I was thinking maybe it would double bottom around 175, but yeah, that definitely didn't happen. We are breaking down and continuing lower today. Even Square, guys, down 3.8% again. Wow, having a terrible move. Let's see that 180-day 1-hour chart. Yeah, you can see how much now we're really going below there. Almost down to $60 on Square, guys. I mean, this is a bloodbath. I hate to say it, but yeah, it's another bad day in the market here. You know, we've seen multiple back to back to back to back. Like, how many days is it now? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, if we have another extension down to like 370 on the SPY, that's going to be 4 huge red days in a row. Hopefully we can hold up a little bit, but you know, unfortunately, a lot of these poor stocks, like I said, Meta, Square, stocks like that are having that 5th bad red day down. So it's rough, guys. Rough market right now, but I will say, just be prepared, be ready, because have some optimism, because whenever the market starts to come back, we will have such a good opportunity. And just keep in mind, you know, people like Warren Buffett, big investors like that, you know, other institutions, they've been hoarding cash and they've been sitting on cash this whole time. A lot of people say, well, sitting on cash isn't smart because, you know, there's high inflation, so your cash isn't worth as much. And yes, that's true, but, you know, they're sitting on cash because they're really just looking to invest it. So keep in mind, it's a lot different whenever you have an institution with billions of dollars in the background and then they're sitting on cash, you know, rather than the regular person with a savings account. If you're sitting on cash, then that's going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt these big institutions like, you know, Berkshire and, you know, like BlackRock and all those big companies, you know what I mean? Like, so it's definitely a little bit different, you know, obviously compared to the regular investor, but just keep that in mind, guys. You know, people are sitting on cash right now and they're kind of like waiting for a nice bottom. And it's even been interesting to see Buffett kind of get into some oil plays and stuff, you know, like he was into Oxy and different stocks like that, and they were doing quite well. And of course, today on a bad day in the market, Oxy is actually doing quite well again, up 4.6%. Looks like they're kind of bouncing off that $60 support. If we look at /CL or crude oil here, or crude oil futures, I should say, we're breaking back out to highs on the week again. So, wow, pretty crazy to see this, guys. But yeah, there goes crude oil futures right back up, and we are starting to now break back out up above 123. Maybe we'll have a nice run back up to around 130 again. That would definitely be interesting. But yeah, crude is continuing to go higher. I'm going to make a post in Discord with crude here really quickly because, man, that is rough. Yeah, I'm gonna at you, Peter. That is pretty insane. Yeah, oil is definitely breaking out here. That is a bad move. I hate to say that, guys, but looks like we're going to be paying even more at the gas pumps now. I know I filled up yesterday, and man, it was like $70 to fill up my cheap car. So that's funny, but yeah, it's been a pretty crazy day as far as that concerns. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, that is hilarious, guys. I cannot believe that how much people have to pay for gas now. Like, kind of insane. Let's see. Peter says he personally like XLM and CRO for crypto. Do you guys ever trade any of these cryptos anymore? Like any of these smaller coins, like Peter said, like XLM, CRO, stocks like that? I feel like some of those can be pretty interesting to look at. Like, let's see, XLM USD. Wow, Peter, this thing looks like a crazy penny stock. I mean, honestly not too bad to trade. I mean, it looks like it has some pretty good like technical moves and has some nice like bounces there, which is very funny. Let's see CRO USD. Let's check that one out. What is CRO? Coinbase? I don't know what CRO is actually, Peter. What is that one? Is that like crude oil something? What is that? Huh. I'm very interesting. Or I said I'm very interested in this now. I don't know what CRO is, but short volume. Yeah, I don't know what is CRO, Peter. You'll have to explain that one to me. That one is a little bit crazy. At least XLM USD, just look kind of like a regular type of coin. But yeah, this one is I like this one's chart a little bit better at least. But yeah, CRO is a little bit crazy there. He also says Meta is facing EU fines for not taking care of bot accounts and scammers. Good, I'm glad. I mean, thank God, Peter. Man, I wish I could sue them for that. It's bad the way that the bots are in there. They do not stop them or take care of them at all. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed that on Facebook at all, but man, I have seen so many bots on there lately, and it's uncontrollable. I'll be honest, guys. Like, and the thing is like the bots they became smart. Like they come in and instead of just making stupid posts in the Facebook group, they actually come in and then they'll make like a recommendation of the Facebook group, like almost like they're recommending it to their friends, but instead of recommending it to their friends, they'll give a big spiel about joining their WhatsApp and blah 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 blah. But you like can't delete it because it's like a recommendation, like a public recommendation. It's so silly, guys. I cannot believe the way Facebook gets away with some of the stuff that they do, but or Meta, I should say Meta. Sorry, I keep calling it Facebook, but yeah, I mean to say Meta. But I can't believe the stuff that they get away with, guys. I don't know if you guys are, fans of Facebook or not. Personally, I love the platform. I'm on it all the time, but I will say I feel like that they are, a little bit crazy with everything that they've done over the past few years. And you watch some of these documentaries that talk about how much Facebook can influence you through the algorithm and through everything like that. And it starts to get pretty crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like The Social Dilemma or not. It's actually a really good movie. You guys should check it out if you haven't seen this. I'm telling you, this is a really good movie. Kind of going over Facebook. It's on Netflix, I believe. And, it doesn't really pick one side or the other politically, which I really like about this movie. It just goes straight into, Facebook and social networking. And there's people who worked at Facebook who are in this movie, and they talk about what they did with the algorithm to try to, influence people. So, for example, if Facebook knows that like you like a girl, and for example, they'll know that you like a girl, and they'll know that you always click on her page and blah 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 blah. Well, at some point, Facebook's gonna start like recommending you her stuff, and the reason that they might do that is there's like certain statistics out there or analytics that suggest that if you get somebody in like a state of arousal and then you hit them with an ad right after that, they have like a 10% higher chance to buy whatever product that is on that ad. And for example, if they're showing you a girl, they might hit you with a product for like, like a good smelling cologne or a deodorant or, some special soap or, something like that, or, like Hims or, some of those pills or whatever. I don't know, but anything. Like they'll try to hit you with something that pertains to whatever they tried to perk your arousal with. It's very strange, guys. Very strange, the stuff that they get into. But definitely check out this movie, The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix. It's a pretty good one, I will say. I'm not big into a lot of these movies that are like this, but I will say that it's it's very in depth. And yes, Peter goes, no way, that's wild for an algo. Peter, if that's wild, it gets into so much more than that even. So just definitely check it out. It's a pretty crazy movie, and yeah, it's insane. I personally think that's just a little bit weird, But the main thing is that they're not just doing it with like girls and stuff either. They're also trying to get people involved, like with protests, and stuff like that. And they know that if they hit you with ads, whenever you're all angry with protests, maybe they'll hit you with, like a certain sign that they know you'd like or something. Then, your chances of buying that are like way, way higher. And they kind of go into how, they cater that to you depending on like what you like and stuff. It's definitely interesting. But yeah, like E said, remember to hit that like button, guys. Definitely a pretty interesting day today. The market, of course, is all over the place. Looks like Meta is now actually coming right back to the upside, which is nice. Let's go check out that S&P 500. There we go. We got that 375 bounce on the SPY. Pretty nice there. So, ooh, that is cool. Vicky actually says nothing wrong with that at all. I don't mind recommendation on purchasing. This woke and Gen X generation finds a problem on anything. That I guess that could be true, Vicky, but the big thing is it's not that they're recommending you products, it's that they're not like recommending it to you. It's not just simply that. It's that they're like trying to pique your like arousal. It's kind of a little bit weird, like I don't mind a lot of it. I don't mind a lot of it going on for sure. Like, I don't mind being recommended certain products. Like, I like cars, for example. So, like, I drive a Mustang. So, for example, like, I'm always getting updates for, like, Mustang parts or, like, new cars or, stuff like that. And I don't mind being recommended stuff like that at all. That's no problem. But whenever it starts getting into stuff, Vicky, like your social life, like, for example, they will start trying to influence, like, for example, like trying to make you feel bad, because they know that if they get you feeling bad, you might make a purchase on something. You know what I'm saying? So in that case is where it gets a little bit skewed, I guess. But I definitely see what you're saying too, because this does seem like everybody nowadays has an issue with everything going on. And I always find it funny, Vicky. I always see a lot of people always like the government's spying on me. Like they're like, I'm not even gonna get on Facebook because they're gonna steal all my info. And I'm not too worried about stuff like that. I don't want them to play with my mind and show me certain things to try to play with my stuff. Oh, I know, Vicky. Yeah. Trust me, I know about those marketing campaigns for sure. I took marketing actually in college, which is funny. So I went through all that stuff. Marketing, I think I even took like business marketing too, but yeah, it was a pretty in-depth process. And I know nowadays there's so much stuff involved. I mean, it gets pretty specific, guys. Like if you guys are going to do a marketing campaign, it gets very specific into these details. So it's kind of insane, but yeah, nonetheless, I know what you're saying, Vicky. It's definitely funny. And yeah, everybody always has to have an issue about something nowadays. That's for sure. Let's see. Good old SPCE today's coming back up 2.3% here. But earlier, Peter says he put the SQ valuation I did a while ago in Discord, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went to the low end. Yeah, let's go check that out, actually. Let's see. Put the SQ valuation here into SM chat. Let's go check it out. I'm going to open up the image for everybody just so, of course, everybody can see it here. So this is the valuation for Square, actually, that he did. Wow. So if you're looking at a revenue growth percentage of 7%, 10%, and then 12%, you can see here, and then profit margins also go up a little bit too. You can see that it looks like Square is actually still above the price of the bullish, I guess you could say the bullish forecast there. So kind of interesting. That forecast is like just under $100 there at like 91.67. So let's go check out Square on that daily chart. Yeah, Square's, oh, that was the old one again, Hunter. You got me messed up. Yeah, that was the old one from earlier in the year again. Yeah, and it kept going down towards, we're now at 62.60. Let's see, Vicky goes, you're one of the reasonable ones, Tom, as otherwise I wouldn't have been here. Yeah, I definitely feel what you mean there, Vicky. It seems like everybody nowadays is always very controversial. They're always picking like one exact side or the other, and it's always good to have like some other viewpoints. So I always think it's interesting to see everything going on, and hear from everybody. So yeah, thanks for always being here, Vicky. I always like to hear your viewpoints. Even if I don't necessarily agree with them, it's always nice to have a different look at things. So yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, squares all the way down to like 6250, 6250. Just above that base that Hunter had posted there. And the bear case is at 34. Man, I hope we don't get to the bear case, Hunter. That'd be like almost another 50% drop. But yeah, it's actually looking pretty decent there. We're right around that base level, which is nice. And looking at the daily chart, what was that base? Let's see. The base is 58.89. Okay. Looking at the technicals, there's a pretty big support down here around 50, which is interesting. I'm also seeing more support around like 57 maybe. So watch for those. But $50 seems huge for the longer term guys. So definitely eye that one up. It is insane though to see Square down this much. I cannot believe that it's down this much, guys. And like Hunter posted earlier in the year, you can see how this was back, let's see. What was this? April, I guess? Yeah, back like right at the beginning of April, he posted this. And yeah, it's all the way now down around that base, which is insane to see, guys. So yeah, big drops out of Square. And I feel like over the next couple days or couple weeks, we might continue to see more big drops down like this. I definitely hope we don't, but I have a really bad feeling that might be the case. But yeah, if you guys are looking for some stocks that are popping back up today, I will say we talked about NEO very early on today, and it really continued up today. It's still popping up to the upside. BABA also started breaking back out, and it started moving up in a big way there. So love to see that push to the upside with BABA. I love that move, actually. I wish I would have called that out today because, man, whenever it started almost to break that pre-market high, it was looking like a pretty big pop there. So love to see that. Yeah, like Mike posted this in Discord too. NEO, BABA, and other China stocks are really running up. So we're glad to see that these China plays are popping back up, guys. I mean, it's been a long time. I know that we had a bit of a pop over the past couple weeks up with the China stocks, but I hope to see some good recovery over the next couple of weeks, a couple months. We've been under this blue trend line here for 2 whole years almost now, and we're finally breaking out above this. So I'm hoping that we can hold here. We're getting a pretty nice bounce actually right off of $100. So it's actually looking pretty good here in the shorter term, and I think it actually looks pretty nice. But yeah, nonetheless, it's not bad. But yeah, looking at some of these other plays popping up today, guys. Other stocks that are up, let's see. There is some more growth plays. I will say Oxy definitely continued up here today. It's still running up with momentum, up 6.6%. Yeah, it's having one hell of a good day, guys. I mean, that is a great intraday pop-up. I know we talked about this one a lot earlier this morning, too. And some of these plays could have made for amazing day trades to the upside. I noticed even Zoom is now breaking out up above 106. Who mentioned Zoom earlier? I'm going to go back and find who mentioned Zoom. Let's see. Somebody was mentioning the breakout with Zoom today. Oh, E. Yeah, E. Yeah, definitely. Watch Zoom here. It broke above 106, and it did run up to 107, which could make for a pretty good 1-point pop there. Keisha, yeah, it's pretty insane with FedEx. I think FedEx had the crazy news with their board members. Let me look up the news again really quickly. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. They're adding 3 new board members, 2 new board members today, and then 1 that will be named at a later date. But Keisha, I think the biggest news with FedEx is that they raised their dividend. That was the big news from this morning. We talked about it a lot right at the beginning of the stream, so you probably missed it. But yeah, they're raising their dividend from 75 cents a share up to $1.15 a share, which is good for them. That's a pretty good dividend, I guess. Nothing too insane, but hey, I'll take it for good old FedEx. It's definitely not bad to raise that dividend up. And those new board members are also coming in, so it looks like that's going to help FedEx up this morning. And yeah, it had a great pre-market, but even when the market opened, Keisha, it really kept running. So yeah, glad that it really kept moving this morning. definitely has that type of movement that you'd like to see. Too bad the SPY and some other stocks don't have this movement, because man, it's yeah, it's having some pretty good pops up today. I will say, guys, I noticed Neo is still up there around 9%. They're sitting right around this big resistance, so be a little bit careful with Neo intraday there. I think that could be a little bit tough. Vicky, I also noticed Fubo was having a pretty good recovery up today. They dropped down earlier and then started coming back. You know, if these growth stocks start coming back up, I feel like Fubo could have a pretty good day. I'm also noticing that, guys, Bank of America is actually bouncing off of my long-term support that I have here on the chart. Let me look at this max daily. I don't know how long I've had this level here on Bank of America, but it has been a long, long time, guys. And we're finally bouncing off of this again now. So looking at Bank of America, this might be a pretty good play to the upside today. You know, the banks are starting to consolidate a little bit heading into the FOMC event tomorrow. Now, I will say, since that event's tomorrow, it's going to be a pretty risky trade today. It could go flat. It could fly down, but, you know, maybe we'll get a bit of a pop back up. I mean, maybe, especially if some more stocks stay up in the green. So hopefully the banks start to come back up a little bit because, man, like, look at Bank of America on, like, a max daily chart. I mean, this is such a big downtrend here. If we go down to 30, I mean, it's just going to be a brutal sell-off. So hopefully Powell can help these banks. Looks like JP Morgan is also right around support. I mean, they are right on almost that, like 115 support from just a couple weeks ago. Let's see. Yeah, they honestly bounced like right on it, guys, like perfectly. So definitely keep your eyes on JP Morgan here. We might consolidate today and then heading into that event tomorrow. And who knows, that event might make us break down below support. We might start flying back up. It's going to be a tough gauge of the movement there, but yeah, I figured I'd point that out because anytime you see stocks on a support like that, it's definitely pretty big, and those levels are usually pretty important to look at. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes on that, guys. It's going to be a pretty big deal with these banks. You know, of course, rates affect banks, and you know, for example, they affect treasury rates, banks. Of course, treasury rates deal with yields, bonds, everything like that are going to go insane over the next few days. So just watch out for the volatility. I know a lot of people are also saying we have quad witching at the end of the week too. So that's going to be rough. We even have other economic data points coming out this week as well. So let me pull up the chart for that really quickly if I can here. Did I click off of it? Oh, I think I clicked off of it. Hang on, let me go back one. There we go. Right back onto it. So as we can see here, this week's going to be insane. So Wednesday morning, I should say this morning, Tuesday morning, we had the PPI data come out. So producer prices, or producer pricing inflation, you know, it's pretty much like the CPI data. It's just, you know, obviously producers instead of consumers. So keep that in mind. At 8:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, we're going to have retail sales for May come out. So keep that in mind. That's going to be a pretty big data point. Retail sales are always pretty important. You know, it does look like there is these mortgage rates in the morning too. Not sure how those are going to look, but those retail sales are going to be pretty big. Of course, though, in the afternoon, then we're going to have that federal interest rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time is when Powell is going to speak. And that's going to be obviously a very huge event, guys. Keep that on the horizon, of course. And then Thursday, we have housing starts and building permits. Anytime, if you guys go to tradingeconomics.com, you look at their calendar, anytime that there's like red on the left here, that usually signifies something pretty big. Bold is something that's supposed to be like, you know, medium. So like if we go up here to the top, you can go to the impact, 1 star, 2 stars, or you can go to 3 stars. 3 stars is just all the red stuff. 2 stars is, you know, a lot of the bigger things, and then 1 star, you know, shows some of the smaller stuff, like, you know, like the EU 6-month bill auction, you know, like whatever that is, you know, like nobody really, you know, pays attention to stuff like that. But, you know, those red ones are definitely big if you guys are ever looking at the economic calendar there. Peter is actually saying HUSA breaking out and has resistance at 850. Let's go check that. Yeah, I know that had some pretty good movement earlier, Peter. Wow, yeah, it's up to $8 a share. Oh, yeah, it does have some pretty big resistance up there, right around 8.50. You definitely hit that one right on the head. Yeah, $8.50 is huge. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. Husa, it does look like it is pulling back a little bit now, around 8. Yeah, it looked like it had a bit of a fake out there, Peter. Yeah, it did. It looked like it ran up momentarily, and then, is now giving those gains back. Man, all these fake outs lately are insane. Some of these penny stocks can be, or I guess it's not a penny stock anymore. It's not under $5 anymore, but still, what was a penny stock a couple weeks ago now, of course, is going to have a lot of volatility. Bick says Tesla calls or puts and Apple calls or puts. It's a tough one to gauge today, Bick. I will say, though, Tesla is not looking good. Personally, I would say puts. But remember yesterday, Bick, yesterday, it's almost like the same type of thing as yesterday. I thought yesterday puts would be good, and they were good. Tesla ended up breaking below 660 and running down to 645. So puts ended up being a really good play. Kind of like I feel today, I'm kind of leaning toward puts on Tesla. But the thing is just Tesla's down so much over the past few days. I feel like at some point we're going to get a bit of recovery up just to retest some levels. Just for even the sake of like price action, I feel like Tesla can start to pop back up at least a little bit. So just always keep that on the radar. There is also a pretty big support on Tesla around 634 to 633, it looks like. And we got pretty close to that today. So keep that in mind. But like I said, I am leaning towards puts, at least right now. It's just the main thing is like, I feel like at some point we're going to get a pop back up. So if you do play puts, just wait for the break to the downside. Kind of like yesterday. If you just would have waited for that nice break, you could have caught some good momentum. I feel like that's going to be the way to go today. If you do see it bounce off support and start to go back up, maybe try to play momentum up. But yeah, I would lean down on that one today. Now, if we're talking about Apple, this is one that I feel like calls could be pretty good on if the SPY starts to come back up at least. But as of right now, Apple and the SPY, their charts intraday look pretty spot on to each other. So I'm a little bit worried. I'm watching Tesla, of course. It's having a very interesting move today. I'm hoping that we can pop back up with both of these stocks. They both kind of are moving like the SPY. So, but the main thing is going to be that SPY. If the SPY tumbles back off, then we're going to see both of those stocks probably also go down. It's a very tough one to gauge, Bick. Like I said, I'm still kind of leaning towards puts on Tesla. On Apple, if we do see the SPY come back up, if we see the SPY especially break above 378 today, then I think we can be really bullish on Apple, at least momentarily. But keep in mind that, to get back up to 378 on SPY is going to have to be a pretty big intraday pop back up anyways, kind of like what we had at market open. So hopefully we see some nice volatility come in, Bick. I'm somebody who I like to give what the market, or I like to take what the market gives me. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not just going to pick, today I'm trading puts and I'm not going to sit here and just trade puts all day no matter what. I really like to look and see how that momentum's flowing. And as of today, so far, I feel like the momentum is still kind of flowing in a negative way, which does suck to see. And my watch list is slowly becoming more and more into the red. I saw Boeing was down a lot. Somebody said Boeing was at 52-week lows earlier. Yeah, it was Peter. He said Boeing making new 52-week lows. Yeah, they definitely are. That is a bad move to see there with Boeing. Looks like they're getting close to $100 again, Peter. They haven't been at 100 in a long, long time. And it's going to be tempting to buy some at 100, but at the same time, Boeing's chart looks brutal. So I don't know about them guys, but oof. Yeah, it's definitely having a bad day today, down 1.4%. Pretty bad move there. I noticed a lot of airlines are also down, like Delta, American, LUV or Southwest. They're down too, so pretty insane to see that there. But yeah, guys, it's been a insane past couple weeks in the stock market, and it's gonna get even crazier tomorrow. Yeah, so we're gonna be, Powell's gonna be speaking tomorrow. Hey, if you guys want me to go live while Powell speaks tomorrow, just hit that like button. If we get up to like 20 likes right now, and if you guys want to see me go live while Powell speaks, then just smash that like button, and that might be something that I consider doing tomorrow, you know? If enough people want to see that, then I might entertain that. So yeah, definitely keep that on the horizon. Like I said, just smash that like button. If we get up to 20 likes, I will go live tomorrow whenever Powell speaks, or at least I'll go live when the rate decision comes out, and then maybe just after, and we can kind of analyze some of that price action going on, because I know that price action, guys, gets insane, and sometimes we'll see the SPY, for example, like fly up, fly back down. So I know that the last report was on May 4th. So let's go see that. Let's go back to May 4th here on the SPY. We'll go on the 15-minute chart, actually. Let's do that. That'll be a little bit easier. Yep, we'll go back on the 15-minute chart so you guys can see exactly how this price action went at the last FOMC meeting. Where is May 4th? Ah, right before that big downtrend. All right, so this is where we get kind of crazy, guys, and this is why FOMC meetings are going to be hard to gauge, okay? So here's where we were at with the SPY last time. And I want you guys to keep this in mind too, because this upper blue trend line on the SPY ended up coming into play perfectly whenever this happened. So watch this. You guys can see here, we had the SPY pop up here on that last FOMC meeting. Initially, it popped up. We had a great day, and the SPY ran all the way up into that 430 resistance, and then also right onto that blue trend line. And then the very next day, we came tumbling right back off, and then just went lower and lower and lower over those next couple weeks. So what can we take away from this? It looks like Powell might be able to help the market out momentarily. And whenever he speaks, a lot of times the stuff that he's saying sounds very, very good. But then as we can see the next day, the market sometimes then starts to digest that news a little bit differently, and we start to see things tank down. Now, you know, keep in mind that overnight, you know, we could have seen foreign markets react. I'm sure like yields and stuff went insane. So keep that stuff in the back of your mind, guys, that yields and stuff like that are going to make a big difference too. But at the same time, it was pretty crazy to see the SPY pop up and then tank off those next couple days after. And what I just want to say with this is just be very careful tomorrow. If the market starts flying up, you know, calls might be good momentarily, but just be careful, because we could end up falling right back off to that downside like we saw at that last FOMC meeting there. But you guys can see that that was that trend line on the SPY ended up holding up pretty well there over those next few months, or over those next couple months or couple weeks. And then once we started finally breaking out above that blue trend line, that's whenever the SPY started finally having those nice explosive moves back up. Of course, now we're back down, but, you know, we ended up breaking another trend line back down then. So pretty crazy, but just figured I'd kind of show some of those technicals there and some of that movement from that last FOMC meeting, because that was pretty insane. But yeah, like I said, guys, just as long as we get to like 20 likes, I will go ahead and do that. So hopefully we can get up to that today. You know, we have about 7 minutes left to get 5 more likes. Do you think that can, we think that can be done? And of course, you know, join me tomorrow whenever Powell starts speaking, because, you know, we'll be here for it. So definitely keep it on the horizon, guys. Mike Chang says DraftKings down to $10. No, Mike, no, don't say that. Don't say that, Mike. You're gonna make me cry. Please don't say that. No, but you're probably right. Honestly, it looks like that is probably gonna happen. Man, I had this head and shoulders pattern on my chart up here, and it was a very long-term head and shoulders type of setup. I cannot believe that we're still moving down off of that leg there. That sucks to see. I just cannot believe that we're falling off that much. That is a very unfortunate move. But yeah, Mike, you're gonna make me cry. Hopefully DraftKings can stay up above $10. Let's go check on Intel. Oh yeah, poor Intel's down again too. Not too surprised with them, of course. They've been brutal over the past few days also. Like I said with Intel, I could see them possibly getting down to $35. And let's see that max daily chart here. Let's see. 35. We're honestly not too far away. We're only just a couple dollars. So yeah, maybe we will hit 35 after all, guys. But yeah, I will say I'm averaged in a little bit higher than that. So Hate to see these drops here on some of these stocks, but I will say Hunter's cash secured call, or I always call them cash secured calls. Hunter's covered calls are doing great that he called out on Intel in the Discord a while ago. He called out some 45 covered calls, and it actually got really, really close. It looked like he was almost going to get assigned on those, but you know, it looks like if as long as Intel closes under 45 this week, those calls are going to, you know, expire worthless, and Hunter's going to make 100% on them. So pretty good play there, Hunter. I've been following that Intel covered call play, of course. I wish I would have fired it. I didn't want to lose my Intel shares, though. But, yeah, I wish I would have fired it at the time. Man, we did get really close to 45, too, didn't we, Hunter? We were, like, only, like, a few cents away. We might have almost been, like, to 44.99 or something. So, pretty insane to see how high we were there, but really good trade. Peter says, Hood's pushing to that $6 range soon. Let's see, good old Robinhood. Robinhood, I accidentally typed it in the chat rather than typing it into the search bar up here. But yeah, nonetheless, it is definitely having a pretty crazy move today, Hunter. Or not Hunter, Peter, I meant. Hopefully it doesn't push $6 soon, but it looks like it might. I will say a lot of people have been pretty negative on Robinhood, especially ever since that GameStop and AMC stuff happened where they had to restrict that order flow. And that was pretty bad, you know, how they had to restrict order flow like that. But I will say it wasn't their fault, guys. Like, it was definitely the government's fault. There's a big interview out there where Elon Musk actually interviews Vlad from Robinhood, and he kind of explains why they had to limit that order flow on AMC and GameStop, because pretty much the thing is they had to pay a lot of money, which was pretty crazy. Peter says, my fear is that Robinhood will go solvent. Yeah, that's not good. I hope it doesn't go solvent, Peter. That would be obviously very, very bad. But I will say it's the chart's looking pretty rough here. It's definitely not looking too good. Bouncing off says, can you look at NNDM? Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I'll check out Nano Dimension for you, bouncing off. But I will say this is Tom, actually. Believe it or not, Mike is in the intraday videos and the nightly videos. He hasn't done the live streams in a few weeks now, but yeah, this is Tom though, just so you know, bouncing off. But yeah, thanks for joining here. I'll definitely check out Nano Dimensions either way. People are always getting us confused, so don't feel bad about it or nothing. You know, people are always mixing us up, but nonetheless, it's looking it's actually looking pretty good with Nano Dimensions. I haven't looked at them in a long time here, but when I'm looking at their chart, I've noticed that they're kind of bouncing off support right now, really close to like $2.70. So it's not having too bad of a move. I will say I like that support here at 270. My only issue is I feel like we were in a bit of like a head and shoulders pattern on Nano Dimensions bouncing off. So I'll go to my circular tool. You can see this right here was a pretty good bounce. Once we hit that again here, I feel like that was a pretty good level. And if we would have held and kept moving off of this, I feel like NNDM could have had some good moves. Now, though, that we're back down to here, right back at that same support level from these past two bounces, I have a bad feeling, in my opinion, just based off of the technical movements with the SMAs and everything like that. To me, it looks like NNDM might start breaking back down here. Now, that's just my own personal thoughts based off of the price action going on right now. I hope Nano Dimension starts to bounce back up, though. Honestly, that is a pretty big support, and if it holds this, you know, like I said, it could be a pretty good dip buy. It's just, if we do end up breaking below this, I could see NNDM possibly trading back down to like 250 or 240 again or something like that. So just keep that in mind bouncing off. It's just my opinion, but as far as the price action goes and the technicals are looking, that's what I'm thinking with NNDM there. Hunter says Disney at 94. Wow, Hunter, that is a big move. Yesterday we fell below $100 in a big way, and yeah, it is still going lower here. Wow, I mean, that is a big drop down. That is just brutal to see. I mean, I cannot believe how low Disney's getting here. I mean, wow, it's all the way down to 94. Wow, that low back from COVID was around 80. Maybe we can get back to there, Hunter. That would be pretty crazy. So I hope we can get back down to 80. That would make for a really good buying opportunity, Hunter. I'm not sure we're gonna get back down to there or not, but yeah, thanks for calling that one out. That is a big break below support. But yeah, of course, if you guys want me to check anything before we leave here and wrap up the stream, just let me know. Like I said, don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Trying to get up to 20 likes. We're at 16 likes right now. We only need 4 more likes, guys. Just 4 more. I feel like that can be doable. So if you have not liked the stream yet, please like it. It really helps me out, and it definitely keeps me motivated. That's for sure. So yeah, Disney's definitely fallen off today, though, Hunter. Good call out there. That is a bad drop. And then Peter says SPY is finally dumping off. Yeah, there we go. It's finally breaking down there a little bit. That is not good. So, yeah, that is rough to see them still breaking down. They broke below like that 374.60 support. I'm curious to see where they're going to end up today, though. I think it could make for good price action if SPY kept running down to maybe like 373, maybe 370 even at like the low of day. Who knows? Maybe 370 will end up being a pretty good intraday support if we fall down to it. But yeah, I'm definitely a little bit worried, guys. This movement today is not my favorite, and we're just still seeing that bad type of price action coming in here. But yeah, Sam says think Robinhood has almost $13 billion cash on hand, so it could go back to private if it wants. That could be a good point there if they do have that much cash on hand. That is quite a bit, Sam. Let me go look on the dashboard really quick at Robinhood. I'm curious. Let's see. Operating cash flow. Oh. That's rough, at least that 1 year. I don't know about you guys, but wow, 2021 was rough for them. That is a scary move. Let's see. Net income, revenue up, but that income, guys, what happened last year? That's terrible. So their market cap is $6 billion, and you say they have like $13 billion cash on hand. If they did have that much cash on hand, that would be very insane. I mean, wow, if they did, you're right. They could probably do anything they wanted at that point. But yeah, that is pretty insane to see Robinhood here. I will say though, guys, look at that. Look at those net profit margins on Robinhood. I mean, Hunter, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I've seen one this bad. Like, I don't know if I've seen one negative 165%. I sure I have with something. I mean, like, what's Fubo? Like, let's see them. Okay, negative 59%. Corsair, or not Corsair. What's something else? Zoom. Let's see, Zoom. Is there good? Theirs is good. I figured. Yeah, I mean, that is crazy, Hunter. Negative 165% on their net profit margins. Like, that is insane. Sam says they think they have $13 billion cash on hand, but they're not sure. Let me see here. Free cash flow. I mean, their free cash flow is really negative as of last year. Let me see on like the monthly. Let's see their free cash flow monthly. Yeah, even monthly, their free cash flow has not really been the best. So, I don't know. They probably do have some cash on hand, but I don't see that. Hunter says he's seen some net profit margins negative 1,000% before. So, yeah, that's nuts, Hunter. I can't believe that. I don't know who would have that. Peter says that's actually not a lot of cash on hand. They have to hold double their cap in free cash because of solvent laws. So, wow, yeah, good call there, Peter. I don't know too much about those solvent like laws or anything like that too much. Haven't looked into that too much in the past couple years. I used to look more into that like when I first started trading because, J.C. Penney and a lot of other companies like that at the time were going out of business. But yeah, now that's pretty interesting though, Peter, nonetheless. But yeah, I appreciate you guys joining up on the live stream today, of course. I appreciate everybody joining up. Stocks are going crazy here. SPY looks like it's about to break the low of the low from yesterday here. And if that does happen, guys, definitely be worried. We're probably going to see a pretty big sell-off. Looks like we're pricing in a pretty big rate increase for tomorrow, guys. We can see right now. Hold on, it's just loading up here. As of right now, we're seeing a 92.7% chance of a 75 basis point increase tomorrow. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a very, very crazy event. Some people were looking at 50 basis points, but a lot of these analysts and different people such as the Wall Street Journal and stuff like that are really talking about 75 basis points now. And I think that is pretty possible. Inflation did end up coming in higher than expected on Friday, so that was not good by any means. And you can see here that the current target rate is 75 to 100 basis points, and if we get to 150 to 175, that would be a 75-point jump. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, guys. I hope that the markets can hold up pretty well, but we'll have to see. It's definitely a tough move today heading into that event, but yeah, I appreciate you guys joining up today. Peter, Hunter, Sam, bouncing off, Bick, Vicky, Peter, of course, E, Raymond, J Deep, George, Jamie. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks for all the interesting conversations from everybody. So I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. And yeah, definitely be ready for Powell tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a huge event.